This week, Siskel and Ebert review cop Michael Douglas falling for murder suspect Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. Anthony Hopkins and Vanessa Redgrave star in Howard's End. And everyone's chasing Woody Allen through shadows and fog.
You shouldn't play this game.
Why not? I like it.
You're in over your head.
Maybe. But this is how I'll catch my killer.
Detective Michael Douglas is turned on by sexy suspected killer Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct, a new thriller that is one of 5 movies we'll be reviewing this week on Siskel and Ebert, including an Academy Award winner, a lost classic film that's been resurrected, and the newest film starring Anthony Hopkins. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. Our first movie is named Basic Instinct, and this is a whodunit where it doesn't really pay to waste a lot of your time trying to figure out who did it, because the whole answer depends on one single arbitrary final shot, which I'm not going to give away. When you see the film, the final shot indicates that a certain character is the killer. But if they had left out that final shot, you'd probably think a different character was the murderer, because all of the evidence in this movie can be read in 2 different ways. The movie stars Michael Douglas as a troubled police detective who investigates a murder where the prime suspect is a novelist played by Sharon Stone, who has written a book describing exactly the kind of murder she's suspected of committing.
What's your new book about?
A detective. He falls for the wrong woman.
The Stone character is bisexual and uses her sexuality to intrigue the policemen who are cross-examining her.
You ever engage in any sadomasochistic activity?
Exactly what did you have in mind, Mr. Corelli?
Even as the evidence against Stone seems to be piling up, Douglas falls more and more under her spell.
You won't learn anything I don't want you to know.
Yes, I will. And I'll nail you.
No. You'll just fall in love with me.
I'm in love with you already.
A police psychologist complicates the situation. She's seeing Douglas because he's in trouble with the department. Another complication, these two are having an affair.
She seduces people. She manipulates people. She'll do anything she can.
I thought you hardly knew her.
I know the type. I'm a psychologist.
That means you manipulate people too bad. You're a practicing psychologist. You're better at it than she is.
Basic Instinct has been protested against by various gay rights groups because all of the women in the film are either lesbians and or possible murderers and or both. They have a point. Leaving the controversy aside, Basic Instinct will be a disappointment to admirers of such movies as Jagged Edge, Sea of Love, and Fatal Attraction, because the more you understand the plot, the more you realize how mechanically constructed it is. That last shot may have answered my questions, but it left me feeling cheated because it was absolutely arbitrary.
Oh, Roger, I can defeat this movie on more than just the last shot. I don't think that this movie is about anything. Fatal Attraction had a real sharp knowledge of how people were worried about casual sex and about extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
This picture isn't about a damn thing except other than its hot sex scene.
This is simply manipulation.
Absolutely.
It's mechanical, it's wind-up, it's Tinker Toys. It's take this character and make you think this and make you think that, and at the end, either throw in a shot and you think one thing, take the shot out, you think something else. It doesn't matter. Your emotions are not involved. You don't care who did it.
No, exactly right. Take out the sex scenes in Fatal Attraction, you still got a good movie, an interesting movie. Take out the sex scenes here, you got nothing.
Well said.
Okay, hey, thank you for the compliment. Next movie and our next film is an Academy Award-winning picture from last year, only now getting a commercial release. It's called American Dream, a terrific documentary of a failed strike by meat cutters at a Hormel meatpacking plant in Austin, Minnesota. The story starts in 1984. Hormel management wants to lower wages, the workers strike, and the long strike takes its toll even on the faithful.
It may sound corny, but a person takes a lot of pride in being a breadwinner, in providing for your family. But you can't do that when you say to them, all I want to do is go to work.
American Dream is very good at letting us get to see the human face of a strike. We meet the guys in the trenches as a battle breaks out between the local union guys and their national union leaders sent to help them.
I can't deliver something that's not there at this time. I've been banging around.
Make them set the
Looking for somebody to run in here with the white horse. You don't even know what negotiations is all about.
There is real drama in American Dream because the story takes an unexpected turn. This was a strike lost. Jobs are lost. People sell their homes. They move away. Cheaper labor is hired. And at the end of American Dream, we're asked by two-time Oscar-winning filmmaker Barbara Koppel whether the public at large needs to get involved in the whole issue of fair pay for hard work. This is a very fine documentary making its way slowly around the country.
I was really fascinated by this film because I had really no way of knowing exactly how it was going to turn out. I mean, her first film, Harlan County, USA, was about a very clean-cut issue, and it was real clear who was good and who was bad. But here, you have issues on both sides, and at the same time, what you have is this new management mentality that took over in the 1980s, which says the job of an executive is to cut wages to the bone, cut costs to the bone. Human lives don't matter. The only thing that matters is the bottom line. And so that's coming in, and these guys who are trying to have this strike are living in another time. They still think that people will honor picket lines and that management is going to be benevolent, and they're wrong. They're playing a entirely different hand than they think they
Well,
can.
it's all the surprise in the story is the leadership of the union, national leadership, and this local, and to see those two people fighting at each other, that's high drama. This is a more unpredictable film than the one we just reviewed, Basic Instinct. The script, if you will, is a whole lot better.
And weren't you fascinated by the talk about strategy? For example, when the national guy comes in and he says, they made the worst mistake. They opened up the whole contract. They're throwing out language. It took us 40 years to get in there. They don't know anything about what they're doing. And as you're back and forth in this movie, that's what's fascinating on both sides.
Quite dramatic. Coming up next, Howard's End, the latest film starring Oscar nominee Anthony Hopkins.
The poor are poor. One is sorry for them, but there it is.
Well, Paul Wilcox pointed our house. So there lived the girl who tried to catch me. Ridiculous. They've only taken the flat for a few weeks, the porter said.
Two sisters speculate on the family that's moved next door in Howard's Inn, the seductive and fascinating new film by the same people who made A Room with a View and Mr. and Mrs. Bridge. And this is clearly one of the best films of the year, a portrait of life in Edwardian London, where the sisters, the strong-willed Helena Bonham Carter and the more subdued Emma Thompson, fall into the family orbit of the very rich Henry Wilcox, played by Anthony Hopkins. At dinner, they listen to the unorthodox theories of the ailing Mrs. Wilcox, played by Vanessa Redgrave, as romantic, idealistic, and otherworldly.
If we could bring the mothers of the various nations together, then there would be no more war.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Wilcox develops a great admiration for Margaret's spirit, and when she dies, she wills Howard's Inn to her country house to Margaret, who is the Emma Thompson character. But her family destroys the will, and that makes it doubly ironic when Margaret asks to rent it. Before long, Henry Wilcox finds a great deal to admire in Margaret as he tries with great difficulty to tell her.
Miss Schlegel, I've had you up here on false pretenses. I want to speak on a much more serious matter than the house. Do you think you could be induced to share? I mean, is it at all probable that...
Oh, yes, I see.
Meanwhile, the sisters have befriended a poor clerk and his disreputable wife, and the hot-headed younger sister arrives at a family wedding with a hapless couple in tow.
He's starving. I found him starving. Who is starving? The bats. He has lost his place. He's been turned out of Dancer's Bank. They reduced their staff, and he was the first to go.
Howard's End is based on a novel by E.M. Forster, whose books have also inspired A Passage to India and, of course, A Room with a View. This is my favorite of all of his novels, but I would have guessed it couldn't be filmed until I saw this version, made by the team of producer Ismail Merchant, director James Ivory, and writer Ruth Prar-Javala. They have captured perfectly here the conflicts of class, wealth, and social position. The movie is high-spirited, it's wonderfully atmospheric, it's filled with passion, especially the contrasting kinds of passion, and two great performances by Emma Thompson and Helena Bonham Carter. And Anthony Hopkins as Mr. Wilcox is a study of a character who knows how to be a better man, but thinks that that might not be altogether proper.
Well, the one character you left out, I love the picture too, but the one character you left out is the young man who the Helena Bonham Carter character sort of adopts. The two sisters sort of adopts. A guy who's upwardly mobile, they take pity on him, and through an honest mistake, they cause great misfortune in his life. And there's a beautiful scene where she turns to him, they're on a boat together, and there's sort of a romantic feeling, and this Helena Bonham Carter says, things have sort of turned out all bad for you, all wrong for you. And I love when a movie has that, has the scope that we know in basically a supporting character, that we have seen the arc of his life.
Yes.
Now that's how rich this picture is, and it's a remarkable achievement in writing and in construction to take all these characters and to even have the majesty of one little life that's passing through here.
It's really very interesting about that character because at one point he says, he isn't yet 20. He says, if you don't have a position, if you lose a position and you're over 20, you'll never work again. Basically, he has fallen off the job ladder.
Right.
And these other people who are so fortunate in life, you know, who are trying to play God and to help him, and they give him the wrong help, and it hurts him instead, are so smug about it. At one point, Anthony Hopkins says, well, the poor have bad luck, and that's too bad for them, and it's good for us that we're not poor. And it's just as simple as that. And they go over there, and we stay over here, and it's just like, and at the same time you see all of his dishonesty, all of his hypocrisy, all of his scheming, and his lack of self-knowledge. So the movie is really about human nature.
It's terrific. Coming up next, Woody Allen's 21st film as a writer and director, an offbeat comedy called Shadows and Fog, filmed in black and white.
Here he is! Climbing's here! Get out and die!
We expect the killer to strike again tonight.
The killer? What killer?
The strangler.
What's strangler?
The maniac, the one who killed Isler's son and choked Jensen to death with the piano wire.
Woody Allen stars as his traditional schnooky character in Shadows and Fog, a most disappointing film from one of our great filmmakers who seems to have really lost his way this time, making a film that is more about art direction than any kind of story. Shadows and Fog is a moody black and white tribute to German expressionist filmmaking like M and Nosferatu, with Allen playing a nerd in a European town in the 20s, asked to join a manhunt for a strangler that is terrorizing the citizens.
Don't you know no one can walk the streets at night?
Well, you know,
And it's not just the streets. The Quilty sisters were killed in their own home because they didn't lock the door. Throats cut from ear to ear.
I thought you said he was a strangler.
Does it matter how he killed?
He's so angry. What is he getting so angry for? Okay.
Shadows and Fog features an all-star cast, including Mia Farrow as a circus sword swallower passing through town, and John Malkovich as her boyfriend, a clown. She's just turned her first trick as an amateur prostitute. He's furious.
I don't care to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. Where's the money?
I gave it to charity.
You're joking!
You don't think I'm worth $700?
There isn't a whore in the world worth $700, especially not an amateur whore like you.
That's not funny, and a lot of big talent is wasted in this story. As I sat and watched Shadows and Fog, I kept thinking, okay, it looks good, and I guess the films that he's referring to, I could see where he took a shot from Todd Browning's Freaks about circus performers, but what else is there? A routine story of a nervous little man intimidated by thugs. A bunch of famous actors appear in cameo roles. Madonna's a trapeze artist, Lily Tomlin, Jodie Foster, Kathy Bates as prostitutes. So you sit there and say, oh, look, there's Kathy Bates. Shadows and Fog honors the look and sound of classic movies, but the reason that they're classic is they had compelling stories. Shadows and Fog is not a major disappointment.
It is a major disappointment. It's 86 minutes long, and it could be 20 minutes shorter with no problem at all. There's nothing here.
Nothing.
You're right to say that it's all art direction. He got the look right, and I'm afraid that at no point did I understand what he was trying to do or why he was trying to do it.
It's very sad. For many years, the Orson Welles film of Othello was an unseen legend. Now it has been re-released in a version that restores both the pictures and the words, and we'll have a special report on it when we come back.
Among the great legendary film productions, Orson Welles' 1952 version of Othello stands almost alone. This was a troubled picture. He shot it in bits and pieces over a period of several years whenever he could gather money and actors together in the same place. And when the pieces were finally joined together, you could see there was a beautiful film there somewhere, but there were so many problems with the technical quality that it was hard to appreciate its real worth. Now a new restoration has been released, and it's exciting. For example, this sequence involving the scheming Iago is famous because Welles wanted to shoot and he had no costumes, so he simply shot it in a Turkish bath.
How do you mean? Removing of him and making him incapable of Othello's place. Knocking out his brains.
All of the compositions in the film exhibit Welles' distinctive visual flair, He forced angles and he used dramatic lighting to heighten the impact of his images.
Banish me, my lord will kill me, no. Strumpet. Kill me tomorrow, let me live tonight.
It is too late.
What I like best about the film is its dramatic visual style. Wells was not timid and he was not cautious. He had a grand theatrical flair, and the film is a joy to look at, but it wasn't always so. Wells spent almost 5 years making Othello, but in the end, he lost control of the project. A horribly, badly mixed soundtrack was the result, and even though the movie shared the grand prize at the Cannes Film Festival in 1952, once it was released in the United States, its technical flaws drew scathing reviews.
I think that it was probably one of the major criticisms of the film was that the technical flaws, in a sense, distracted from the real aesthetic value of the film.
Michael Dawson and Arnie Sachs are the two Chicago producers who have brought about Othello's restoration. They worked closely with Beatrice Wells Smith, who owns the rights to her father's film. When they found the original negative after a worldwide search, they also found scenes like this. Look how horribly out of sync the dialogue is with the actors' lips.
Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona? If you bethink yourself of any crime unreconciled is yet to heaven and grace, solicit for it straight.
Yes, my lord, what do you mean by that?
Well, do it and be brief.
Now watch the same scene with its newly restored audio track.
Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona? If you bethink yourself of any crime unreconciled is yet to heaven and grace, solicit for it straight.
Yes, my lord, what do you mean by that?
Well, do it and be brief.
Quite a difference. Sachs says incredible audio engineering is the biggest factor in Othello's restoration.
They were able to take the composite track, separate the dialogue into little chunks, so that, number one, we could move the dialogue into as good lip sync as possible, and then remake all of the effects, from footsteps to Foley clothing rustle to wind noise and music, which was critical.
Wells's daughter is thrilled by the rebirth of one of her father's classic films. Many other movies he worked on have been in legal limbo for years, tied up in disputes among the many people who own rights to his estate. She hopes Othello will be an example for them to follow.
I hope that egos don't get too involved with things, and that people forget about their egos and think what they have in their hands and what they can give to the world or give to the public who loves Orson Welles and who loves good cinema. I really wish them all the luck in the world, and I hope that they can do it, because it can be done. If we did it, they certainly can do it too.
And among those films by Wells that still could be restored and that people are still waiting for would be a new version of Falstaff, also known as Chimes of Midnight, and of course also that legendary Wells production of Don Quixote, which has apparently been hovering above the movie industry for 25 years, and someday it's sure to land, I hope.
Well, you know, home video puts a carrot out now for people to resolve their economic differences, their rights differences, because there is now a new market for money to be made for these films. I'll tell you the market that I want to see, go to see this new Othello, and that is, first of all, filmgoers should see it in a movie theater on a big screen. It's great, it's very exciting. But I hope that this will be screened in film classes around the world for this reason. American movies are so locked down tight in framing, shooting TV style, 2 medium close-ups constantly throughout the picture, throughout the movie. Wells is energetic. It is thrilling to see.
He'll put his camera anywhere. There's that moment when the dead body of Othello is going past and the camera looks straight down at it. It's tremendous.
Well, he's got everything going on, and if you can influence, this film could be very influential if seen by people who are about to start their careers in movie making. I hope they do see it.
I hope so too. Coming up next, our video pick of the week, a better thriller than Basic Instinct, and also one with a lover who may be a killer.
The following Siskel and Ebert video pick is brought to you by Orville Redenbacher.
Basic Instinct is only the latest in a long line of recent films to exploit that old device of a lover who may be a killer, the sleeping with the enemy syndrome, which is so present in movies today, and a sad commentary on the state of relationships between men and women. One of the best little-known films of this genre that I think you might not have heard of, and it's worth renting, is A Kiss Before Dying, James Dearden's remake from last year, a moody tribute to a 40s